we'll be sharing some more of the findings of the delta. Next please. Well, sea intrusion. Now, sea intrusion is one of the biggest problems that we have. We have like 0.5 million hectares of fertile land in Qatar gone to the sea, and we're talking about 400,000 people in the delta. That accumulates to about how many? 1 million. So you can see rain magnification. Next please. This is part of climate change. We link sea intrusion with climate change. Climate change will affect mangroves the most. The reason why is because it's on the coast, and we have the sea constantly intruding. We don't have the fresh water coming in as it used to about 20 years ago. Next please. Well, we can learn from lessons. The coast of Banda 80 on the island of Sumatra, you can see the two slides, April 12 to 2004. You can see on the top left side, the badge gone from mangroves, and the result in the next slide. The area is being inundated after tsunami. So this is a lesson that we have to learn. Next week. This is an image from different village of Hajamru leakage. You can see this image has been taken in 2007, but it's hardly a few centimeters above high water mark. Well, last year I've been working in taking this in the last 2.5 years, and last year we had tide more than that. So this is a phenomenon that we have to address, and we have been looking at policy for that. This is a land erosion map that shows from 1952 to 2006 how many hectares of land area in Thatta district alone has been lost to the sea. This accumulates to about 8,000 hectares of area. So you can see the blue line that is suggesting the area that has gone, that has been lost to the sea, which means it's basically, this is the data that shows the construction of barrages and how the water has reduced over the years. You can see the tables, the data declining. Next please. What happens? Loss of human life and property, people getting homeless, people migrating from creeks into inland areas, loss of livelihoods, no fish, and probably overfishing. So, next please. Well, sir, but we have seen the potential of mangroves. Riyas has mentioned a lot, we stressed a lot about mangroves, how 1 hectare of mangrove can sequester about 100 kg of fish, and 1 hectare of mangrove, undisturbed mangroves can sequester 1.5 metric tons of carbon, which is amazing. And looking that into context, the livelihoods of the communities, they don't have any natural resources, they don't have gas, they don't have water, so they do need something. So what did they do? They take leaves, they take the wood from the mangroves for burning the stoves, and we have seen some degradation. The data gap is a little insufficient, which needs to be looked into as well. Next please. This is another common slide that Riyas has also shown. Next please. This is Chand Creek. Next please. WWF, what it does is it has a 6-point photography that they do every year, and for that purpose we have Chand Creek as one of the sites in which we go every year on a particular day to find out what is the tide condition and what is the mangrove condition. And we have seen that old and dense mangroves are being uprooted by strong waves. One other important factor is it's a natural factor, we cannot do anything more about it. You can see just near the arrow there are some white sand. That's white sand actually deposited at the mouth of the creeks. And over the last 10 or 12 years, the sand dunes have been shifting towards the areas where there are mangroves. Now we have seen this similarly in Somyani as well. Somyani had to face these issues with the shifting of sand dunes. Similarly, we are facing a similar issue with the delta. Next please. This is on March 28, 2008. This was last year. So what we have actually determined is that the scale of devastation is alarmingly high, and it's about 1.5 feet per day at Chand Creek. And these are all comprised of natural factors, and we cannot fight nature. Next please. But yes, we can address the anthropogenic factors, we can address the communities, we can address the issues, and we have already talked about it. So I'll just try to do it in a different way. There are more than like about in the winter season, the camels come in the peak areas for grazing and browsing, and there are issues with. And the camel owners are also one of the main stakeholders in the area which needs to be addressed. Next, please. These are some images. Next, please. Well, there are things that are being done, efforts to mitigate and policy. This is what we do. Next. We had a set out target to rehabilitate about 7,500 hectares of mangrove forest in the KD Bandar area, and it's the last year of our program, and after now we have rehabilitated 5,470 hectares of mangroves, and we do that with the involvement of the community. Next, please. This is a year-wise data of how we have planted and what species we have planted. We have planted Abyssinia marina and Rhizophora granata. Next, please. Next. This is very important. I feel we planted Rhizophora granata in 2008 in Khobel Creek in Gili-Sholani village, and this is the success that we have seen now. It's bearing fruit now. Next, please. This is plantation in 2010. Next. This is 2011. This is also one of the plantations of Abyssinia marina that have grown to a dense portion. Next, please. 2009. Next. Mangrove management. Now, one of our CBOs was awarded a project under IUCN-MFF. This was to manage 100 hectares of land area with mangroves, and right now they are here. And I think this is a very good opportunity for them to get to know you, and also because I feel that mangrove rehabilitation is not an issue, it's the management that's an issue, and we need to look into that. We have also had the opportunity to protect a 40-hectare dense patch of Aegisteras corniculatum, which is in a very sparse form in Hatinwadi Creek. Next, please. Next. Yeah. Another issue that is at hand that I have seen is that mangroves are going through a phase of barnacles growth on them, Abyssinia marina specifically, and when barnacles grow on them, they retain the growth. So this is something that we also need to look into. Next, please. These are one of the environmental education sessions. Next. Now, how GIS technology can be used for studying mangrove inundation? This is a very important point. Next, please. Well, the materials that we have used in the recent years are, we use aerial photographs, we use Landsat Astro spot images to cover the data, and we also, then the team goes onto the ground and they find out, they do the ground truthing. Next, please. This is the change in forest cover. The mangrove change that you can see from 92 to 2001. You can see the dark green portion is a dense green, and the light one is a less sparse in the next. You can see the changes now. Next. Next. Yes. Back. So you can see the lighter portions show that there are no change in those areas. With the light yellow color shows that there's no change there. And whereas the drastically vanished are the red ones. So these are the areas of concern for us. Next, please. This is an overall. This shows the previous data was till 2001. This also tells about 2007. You can see the last bottom right image. Next, please. This is a 55 years change analysis which shows that agriculture in the area has increased a lot. You can see the green area in the right image, how the agriculture has increased in the last 55 years, mainly because fishing is also going to a downfall. And in the inland areas, and next please. Erosion in Chanti, you can see in KD Bandar area that the areas have declined to a great length. There is a length of the line, you can see 1.8 kilometers. This is how we have actually assessed and come to the conclusion that we are facing mangrove degradation till about 1.5 feet per day. Next, please. I'm just finishing up. Could you go to the next one, please? Now, this is way forward. Proactive policy and early action, proper monitoring, multi-stakeholder partnerships. Next, please. Well, the problem cannot be taken alone by policy. We need awareness and we need research based on past and present data. Why we need policy? Next. We need policy because we have to protect these as well. These are the migratory species that come to these beautiful areas. And these are beautiful species. Next, please. Next. 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 Thank you for your attention, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mangroves. This was indeed very interesting to see a lot of visuals and see what is a bigger picture of the area and what kind of species are there also. So I'm sure everybody is building up on the learning. Now I would like to invite Mr. Tahir Javed, who is from Mangrove Foundation. He is Senior Vice President of Mangrove Corporation and in charge of the CSR activities. He will share with us contribution of private sector under corporate social responsibility. Mr. Tahir Javed. I think maybe he's outside for a while. So we can go with the next presentation and have this one in a short while. The next speaker is Sayyid Ghulam Qadir Shah, NRM Coordinator of IUC in Pakistan. He would share with us opportunities in mangrove conservation. So Sayyid Ghulam Qadir Shah.
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of my presentation is opportunities in mangrove conservation, and my presentation would be slightly different from the earlier ones because those presentations covered the background about the state of mangroves in Pakistan. I would rather touch upon the opportunities that exist if we conserve our mangrove resources. Next, please. Very briefly, I would like to highlight the existing status of mangroves and the key drivers of deforestation and degradation in mangrove forest. And under the opportunities, I would discuss the emerging international concept or mechanism, which is famously called as RED, which is reducing emissions from deforestation and degradation, and what the carbon potential exists in mangrove species that we can harness, what are the opportunities that would be harnessed by the fisheries sector, and of course what the opportunity costs would be if we lose our mangrove forest. And finally, there will be some recommendations for the future course of action. Next, please. Briefly, mangroves in Pakistan are found in Balochistan and Sindh province. 97% of these forests are found in Sindh province in the delta, and 3% in Balochistan province. And these are managed by different agencies, forest departments of Sindh and Balochistan, and Forecasting Authority, KPT. Next, please. The area under mangrove, in earlier presentation we also have seen that area and distribution of the mangroves have declined from what we had earlier. And the current status is that it is slightly above 100,000 hectares, and mainly occurring in the delta. But over the period of time, we have seen nearly 50% of decline in mangrove cover. Next, please. Earlier, we used to have 8 species of mangrove found in Pakistan, but now out of the 8 species, 4 we have already known, and only 4 species